Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. In this video we're going to be comparing the New Balance 1080 version 10 with the Hoka One One Clifton 7. So both these are max cushion shoes by both brands. You do have the Bondi 7 above this Clifton 7 when it comes to max cushioning, but both of these are nice lightweight neutral runners that you can do a ton of Ks in, whether it's a bit of speed work as well as something that does have like a negative split, so just a bit of endurance running and followed by a bit of speed work. Both very plush underneath the feet, can't really fault either of them with the cushioning. The New Balance 1080 version 10 using their Fresh Foam X, and the Hoka's using just some cushioned midsole. Getting started, I have run only 50 Ks in the Clifton 7 so far, whereas I have put about 300 Ks into the 1080 version 10, so I have spent a lot more time running in this, but I have worn quite a few Cliftons in the past. Have liked both these shoes. I think the 1080 version 10 has one of the better uppers on the market this year. Very nicely dialed in on that midfoot section as well as around the toes. Kind of got like a second sock fit. Quite a nice heel counter with that ultra heel. Your heel does kind of sit back in that concave section there, and it just flares away from that Achilles quite nicely. But yeah, getting on to how they're kind of wearing. So a lot more wear on that 1080 version 10 since I've got about 6 times more Ks in it. Quite a bit on that lateral side on just the midfoot since there is an exposed foam there. As I've touched on in the 100k review, even the first run, even if New Balance push that carbon rubber or airborne rubber onto that lateral side, they're just going to experience a lot better wear. But yeah, got your carbon rubber in the heel zone as well as the push-off zone, so high abrasive areas, a bit more durable rubber. It's wearing not too bad. It's kind of what you'd think for a shoe that's done about 300 Ks. I'd probably say at about 600 Ks the outsole is probably a bit done. The Fresh Foam is probably getting a bit done around that 300k mark, but it has been a nice pleasurable ride. It's quite a smooth transition on the foot, very lightweight. I think these come in around 280 grams, so it is quite a lightweight shoe for how much you have underneath your foot. If you are someone that does push off a lot on your forefoot like myself, this is quite pleasurable. You got a lot of cushioning underneath that forefoot. It is running with that 8mm drop, and it does have, I think it's 22mm stack height underneath the forefoot. So you got a 30 to 22mm stack height. But yeah, very good cushioning system. You can easily use this as like a tempo shoe as well, since it is quite a lightweight shoe. The Fresh Foam X does have a decent bit of bounce back to it. Now looking at the outsole on the Clifton 7, they haven't changed the outsole a lot in basically all their versions. So you got your landing zone rubber as well as your forefoot rubber, and just quite a bit of exposed foam throughout. Your general wear, you'll get kind of similar wear on both these shoes, since they do have a rocker sole and very similar offset. I have worn quite a bit on that lateral side and most of the other Hokas. I'll probably end up doing the same. Very durable rubber on the forefoot. I don't seem to wear too much of that, and I do wear quite a bit of that lateral side just as the heel. Even same thing as that 1080, if they put that rubber on that lateral side, it's probably going to wear a lot better, get a few more Ks out of it. With the outsole combo and the midsole combo, it just does work nicely. Both of these shoes are very good as taking impact out of each stride. I feel like it takes a lot of shock absorption out of the legs as well as the joints, and just the next day leg recovery is a bit quicker. But I'd probably say the Clifton 7 takes a bit more of that shock absorption out of it. Might just be because it's a newer shoe, but I have loved running these in the past, and just that next day leg fatigue isn't as kind of pronounced as some other shoes on the market. Both midsoles are a good package. I feel like the Hoka's a bit more durable over the life of the shoe. I did do 800 Ks in the Clifton 2 as well as about 600 Ks in the Clifton 3, and they held up quite well. I'll have to end up doing a bit more running in this 1080 when I get a bit fitter, see how the midsole holds up. It's probably done a bit better since I was doing quite a few Ks in it just as a single shoe. But it's been a very pleasurable ride. I think I did a kind of a 19-minute park run in it when park run was on, so that was fun. And just touching on the uppers, so both of these uppers are quite a shallow fit, how kind of these shoes are. If you want something that's a bit more of a deeper fit, I'd probably look at the 880 by New Balance and probably the Bondi 7 by Hoka. So just a nice slim fit throughout the toe box as well as the midfoot. Both of them are running with gusseted tongues, so I'd say this 1080 probably locks down the midfoot as well as the forefoot a bit better. You still do have that kind of nice stretchy forefoot there. Both of these are quite breathable, but these just does have a nice upper to it. There's no irritation. I've never had a blister in these or the Clifton 7s, but they just fit very nicely. I'd probably say the heel counter on the 1080 version 10 is a bit more open. So if you do have a bit more of a broader heel, it could work a bit better for you. Like myself, the heel counter on the Hoka Clifton 7 just does lock in a slightly better. A bit more padding around it as well, whereas the Ultra heel is just basically a 3D molded shoe. There's not a whole lot of padding there. There's a slight bit of memory foam on both sides of the Achilles, but there's not as the amount of cushioning as on the Clifton 7. So this is running with that 5mm as well. I'm pretty sure it's a 29 to 25, 24. So still a lot of cushioning underneath, basically an inch underneath your forefoot. I just find that inch a bit more, yeah, that kind of 2mm just does add up, especially with the density of that Clifton 7. Yeah, both very good shoes. I wouldn't really see you having both of this in your rotation. They both are doing basically the same job. I personally prefer the Clifton 7 out of these two. Just having that slight bit more cushioning underneath the forefoot, plus just the density of the cushioning as well. You do sink into it as kind of similar to the 1080 version 10, but it just does give you that bit more response back. So if you were doing a few more speed workouts or want one shoe to do a bit of everything, the Clifton 7 just can easily, yeah, hold up to a lot more different workouts you throw at it. I think it comes in around that 260 grams, so knock about 20 grams off the 1080 version 10. This is still a very lightweight neutral shoe for how much cushioning it has underneath the foot. But yeah, I just personally prefer the Clifton 7. And just looking at the medial sides for a second, so with the Clifton 7 on most of the Clifton range, even the Hoka ranges, they do have more of a bucket seat. So if you do have a slightly lower arch, like myself, or you do kind of rear foot pronate, the bucket seat can be a bit irritable on that medial side, whereas the 1080 is not as aggressive. So it does have a bit more of a broader midfoot as well as rear foot. So it's just not digging into that medial side of your arch, and just it isn't as aggressive as a bucket seat as the Clifton 7. So if you do have a slightly flatter foot, I personally use an inner sole in all my shoes. I'd probably look at the 1080 version 10. If you do have a slightly flatter foot, lower arch, and don't want something digging into your arch at all, the 1080 version 10 might end up working a bit better compared to that Clifton 7, because some of the other shoes I just have found they just dig in a bit too much, but with an inner sole it works alright after all that. Yeah. Let us know what your thoughts are between these shoes. I personally love both of them. Probably one of the, well, it's definitely the most Ks I've done in a New Balance as far as any of their running shoe goes. Did love the Beacon, then just updated to the 1080 version 10. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot more Ks in the Clifton 7. It's a brilliant shoe, very breathable, locks down the foot very well, and your next day leg fatigue is just basically gone out the window. Let us know which shoe you're running in. Can't really fault either of these. They both do the great job. Just depends which brand you want to run in. Give us a comment how you're running in them, and give us a like, all that jargon. See you in another video.